the reaction going forward in time. So what is missing? It's this catalyst. And what is the catalyst? Shu shu shro shodhanasya vasudeva kataruchi sanmahatsevaya vipra what's his last name? Punya tirtha nishedana, right? Service to that devotee who's completely free from all vice. So that means hearing from Srila Prabhupada and taking the message of Srila Prabhupada and trying to give it to others. Because that's all he's saying in his books anyway. He's glorifying Krishna and begging us to turn around and share that opportunity with others. It is the highest service, and it's the service which is most quickly recognized by Krishna. So that's what association of devotees means, that we come together to really practice calling out to Krishna and serving. And that's one of the ways we serve the devotee, is by following his instruction to call out to Krishna. You know, hearing from Srila Prabhupada means, like, if you hear how to fix your computer, the proof that you've really heard properly is that now you can go and fix your computer, right? But if after hearing over and over and over again how to fix the computer and you go to fix it and you still can't fix it, that means you haven't heard properly. So if we're actually hearing from Srila Prabhupada, the proof is that we're avoiding these 6 activities that Rupa Goswami says to please avoid. We're doing the 6 activities that Rupa Goswami says please do. And we're actually chanting, trying to cultivate nicely that mood of calling out to Krishna while we're chanting. So maybe we'll stop there. We had a couple other questions this morning. One was how to keep the inspiration going. Like sometimes we come together for a weekend of satsang, or we go to some festivals or something, and we feel quite inspired and uplifted and like that. But 2-3 days later, back to our normal slow motion, mundane life, you know, the enthusiasm's gone. So we're going to probably address that one Sunday evening, because that's a whole discussion right there. So let's hope that first of all we get some inspiration this weekend, and then maybe Sunday evening we can discuss this topic of how to stay high forever, not just for a couple of days. And then we had another question on, you know, how to deal with the fault-finding propensity. And maybe we'll save that one for tomorrow also. I mean, not as like the only topic, but as part of it. Perhaps we can try to address that tomorrow morning's session. Okay, so we'll stop there and see if there's any questions or realizations anybody would like to share. It's nice to share our realizations.
The question, so we keep talking, we keep using the word association. So what is exactly meaning of association? You kind of explained getting somebody's desires.
Yeah, so association does not mean, like in the mundane world, association might mean. Association does not mean like, I need a ride to the grocery store, so I call a devotee to give me a ride to the grocery store. Or whatever. I need, you know, something in my apartment fixed, so I call a devotee to come fix that thing in my apartment because I don't know how to use a hammer or something, you know, whatever. Association of devotees means hearing, well, it depends on who you're associating with. If you're associating with a devotee who's more advanced, then we render service and we hear from them. We ask questions like that, inquire submissively. If we're associating with a devotee who's on an equal level with us, then we can do service together, and we can hear and chant together and share our realizations, you know? because some things you feel comfortable revealing to somebody who's like kind of on your level, equal with you, rather than somebody who's, you know, on a different level or whatever. We can share with each other, do service together, help each other, you know. Hey, Prabhu, come on, wake up during Bhagavatam. Don't sleep during Bhagavatam class. No, you know, some people might think that's rude, you know, that you elbow the person next to you, hey, wake up. But actually, that's a sign of love. Because by hearing, that's how we're going to make advancement. So if my friend is falling asleep next to me, I should give him a little elbow and say, hey, come on, pay attention. They shouldn't take offense, right? And if we're associating with a devotee who's not as advanced, then we should be distributing mercy to them by engaging them in service, giving them instruction, encouragement, hearing from them, what doubts do they have? Because, you know, doubts need to be put out on the table. You can't just harbor doubts. We can't just say, well, I'll just wait till I get to the stage of a sakti and then my doubts will be destroyed. Well, you know, that might take lifetimes. But doubts are meant to actually be put on the table and revealed so that the other devotees, especially those who are more advanced to us, can, you know, destroy them with their realizations, etc. So association of devotees means to help each other. Chant. I mean, how many of us chant our japa alone? Too many of us chant our japa alone. Now, it's true that japa is a personal meditation. That is true. But that doesn't mean, therefore, we're meant to chant japa alone. Okay, make the best use of a bad bargain. So we do a conference call, and we get together with 30 other devotees who live in 30 different states in America, and on the phone we chant Hare Krishna together. No, that's maybe a little bit better, but it's not the real, that's not it either. A really nice exercise to do is to take another devotee, find another devotee, sit down, the two of you, and have each devotee chant one round by themselves. So here's devotee A, devotee B. So devotee A chants one round of japa on their beads, loud enough for devotee B to hear. Devotee B is not chanting. Devotee B is just listening to devotee A chant. And after the 10 minutes or whatever it takes to chant that one round, devotee B has to give a critique about devotee A's japa. Prabhu, you were missing a hare in there. You were going a little bit quickly or not paying attention enough. So you were saying, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. You missed a hare in there. Or Prabhu, your Rams were like, Ram, 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 Ram. We're not calling for Ram, you know. It's supposed to be Ha, Re, not Harry, Hurry, Hurry, Hurry. It's
Hare Krishna.
Ha. Every word has two syllables. Ha, Re. Krishna. Rama. Not Ram Ram. You know. Of course, we want to go quickly. That last A is rather silent. Ram Ram. You know. But we can practice because we think, oh, well, I hear myself chanting. I can tell if I'm skipping syllables or not pronouncing things correctly. But we're not hearing ourselves chanting. We're automatons most of the time. Let's just admit it, you know. So this exercise is very nice. Two devotees sit. One chants a round of japa, and the other one listens, and then gives a critique. And then devotee B chants a round of japa, and devotee A gives a critique. And like that, we can pick up, you know, learn things that we don't know about our own japa, you know. Of course, when we do that exercise, we will chant a very good round because we'll be on our best behavior. But to get into the practice of, also what you can do, press the play button while you're chanting japa, turn it off after so much time and play it back to you. And you'll be going, ooh, that's me chanting japa? Yeah. No wonder why Krishna doesn't come. You know? This is association of devotees. Yes, we may also call a devotee friend over to drive us to the grocery store, etc. But the essence of devotee association is, you know, if we don't help each other chant better japa, who's going to? If we don't help each other read Prabhupada's books more nicely, who's going to? You know, that's what real love is. Because that's the real self. You're not the body, you're the soul. So, devotee means we interact with each other on the level of the soul. Not that we think we're on this, of course, we shouldn't think, you know, I'm so beyond it all that I don't recognize that you have a material body, but you know what I mean. We should administer to each other's needs, spiritual needs.
But to receive one's feedback, we need to have certain humbleness to receive it, otherwise.
We need to have what?
We need a certain humbleness or humility to
Right.
receive.
So, you know,
That
go ahead.
I was going to mention that because that just came up
Uh-huh.
about interacting with other devotees and like hearing from other devotees. So that's another one of Rupa Goswami's positive activities, the loving exchange, that one inquire confidentially and also reveal his mind confidentially. So it takes like a loving relationship for this to come out. So I don't know you, I'm not going to reveal my problems, you know, it's like confidential. Just put it out to somebody I don't know. So therefore to advance, we actually have to develop, you know, loving relationships. Or else we're not going to do that. If you don't have somebody who can have confidential exchange with, the process isn't going to. Also, another thing to add about the process going slowly. That question, so wonderful. I was just thinking about it, it just really hit me.
Yeah, because Prabhupada often stressed that Krishna consciousness means love and trust.
We can be practicing Krishna consciousness by yourself and be really austere and this like that, but you know, we've heard different places, too much austerity makes the heart very hard. The heart harder, you know, a little steal more. But loving personal relationships soften the heart. And then when you start the process of revealing the mind in confidence and inquiring, Prabhu, please, you know, help me with this. Then you feel this, you know, very happy relief from this, from some kind of constraint, from something that's you can't otherwise exercise. Open the heart. So like, you know, like two people come together in some loving relationship, and it's exciting, and you have these confidential talks, and you know, it makes us stronger and freer. So it's nice. Especially when it's connected to Krishna, or it's for advancing in Krishna consciousness. Krishna, who is within the heart, is very pleased. So he's like, oh wow, that's patting us on the back.
But again, right now in our situation, we just have one program on the weekend. It's all like reading and just finishing and just again rushing for next day. So we don't have that much time to all talk openly and sharing and all those things.
I got an
So-
answer for that. Everyone get together, pull your money, buy an apartment house, and start a Hare Krishna commune, where you can meet each other morning and evening.
Or you can take, like, once a month, like you have your programs every week, right?
It will be.
So maybe one of those Sundays each month, it can be not just like program like with kirtan, reading, questions and answers, prasadam, but a discussion group. You know, like a japa workshop, you know? Everybody like chant one round together and then break up into groups of two and do that little exercise or something, you know? Or discuss, you know, discuss something. about our relationships, where we want them to, where they're at and where we would like them to go. You know, it might be a little bit difficult, but we have to put down that wall of pride and just be really humble and start admitting what problems do I have with different individuals, you know, why am I a little bit about that person, about that person, and just try to build our relationships, because that's what the spiritual world is. It's just loving relationships. There's nothing else going on there. That's all it is. There's nothing else.
Krishna in the center.
There's nothing else. So we're never going to go there if we don't train ourselves up to be part of that world.
Actually, we say spiritual is actually loving process. It's the end of the present. You should have a loving relationship.
There's no love in the material world. No real love in the material world, so it takes work. Because we spent millions of lifetimes envying everybody. That's what that big steel frame is on our heart. It's just envy. And we have a hard time letting go. But it can be done with practice, with effort. And we'll see that we'll all walk away feeling so much happier and lighter. Wow, I'm really glad I resolved the conflicts I had, or whatever it was, you know.
So even a small community, we should see it as an opportunity to, build, develop, these relationships and open up. Find one devotee we can open up to.
When our hearts become softer and more loving, that's how we attract others. You know, why is it that when we go out on Harinam or book distribution or whatever, it's just kind of like, whatever, yeah, a few people pay attention, but, yeah. But if we our hearts become light, because we get rid of all that extra baggage, and we actually become happy, there's like an aura that just emanates from such blissful devotees. And then the public, they don't know why, but they're attracted. They don't know you from anybody else, but they become attracted because there's this a genuine happiness, not like the showmanship type of happiness, where you do a song and a dance, put a smile on, and dress up all nice. But there's a genuine, foundational happiness emanating from the devotees that doesn't come from anything except an experience of actual love. That's why the pure devotee is so attractive. That's why the pure devotee is so attractive. Because the pure devotee is perfectly in love with Krishna. So, prema bhakti yaha hoite. If you chant the Guru Vandana prayers in the morning, one of the lines says, prema bhakti yaha hoite. From him, ecstatic prema emanates. Like the sunshine emanates from the sun. You just can't help but look at it. Nobody looks at the darkness, but the sun, whoa, Or like a rose garden, so much beautiful aroma emanates from the roses. You just it catches your attention. So, prema bhakti yaha hoite, from such a devotee, prema bhakti is just emanating. It's not something that you smell or you touch or you see, but it's just like, it captures people. So we'll never get to that platform if we can't even practice loving the devotees that are in our association. How are we going to expand the circle to others? And that's all preaching is. Preaching is not just going out and speaking philosophy, and arguing, and making points, and defeating people, and convincing people. Practically without any words, a pure devotee can go out and convert people. Prabhupada just sat under a tree in Tompkins Square Park in 1965 in the autumn when it was starting to get cool. He just took out his little pair of kartals and ding, 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 started chanting Hare Krishna. He didn't have a microphone. It's not like his voice was booming all over the place. just by doing that, dozens and dozens of people just swarmed around him. And they don't know why. They were like those little filings that just get attracted to the magnet. There was this affinity. Why? Because prema bhakti ahoite. It just sucked people in. He didn't say anything. He just sat there and chanted. It's okay, we're not there and we won't be there in the very near future, but it doesn't mean therefore we shouldn't work towards it. We have to pray to have the desire, to have the desire, to have the desire, to be pure. We don't even have the desire, that's our problem. We're complacent. Okay, anything else? Okay, so maybe we'll stop there.
You said we have to keep Krishna in the center of our material life. So, I mean, practically translating into what we do in our day-to-day things. So that is like giving Krishna the topmost priority.
Yeah, and doing everything for Krishna. See, material life, when you say balance, how do I balance material and spiritual life? It means you have two lives going on. But there's only one life. It's Krishna conscious life. I might have material duties to do, but I'm doing them for Krishna. Why am I going to work? Well, hopefully, I'm going to work because I need to, support myself or my family or whatever it is. But we should be doing it for Krishna. And how do we know we're doing it for Krishna? Well, because we have these 6 things that we're going to look in our heart and see if we're guilty of them, and 6 things in our heart to see if we're doing them. That's one of the symptoms that we're actually doing our activities, even our material life, for Krishna. We're not guilty of atyahara. We're not guilty of prayasha. We're not guilty of, janasanga. We're not guilty of prajalpa. So we have to keep meditating on, how do I do this for Krishna? Well, read Bhagavad Gita. That's what Krishna was telling Arjuna. You don't have 2 lives, Arjuna. You don't have the life of a warrior and the life of my bhakta. You have one life, you're my bhakta. And a part of that is you have to do your material duty of fighting the war. Now, how do you do it for me? How do you do it for me? A whole horrible thing like killing people. How do you kill people, your own family members, for Krishna? So he went through a whole discussion about what one's consciousness should be like, detachment from the results, depend on Krishna for the results, don't, desire more than what Krishna wants, and always meditating on him with mind attached to him. He says like that. Your mind has to be attached to me while you do your duty, your material duty. If while you're doing your material duties at the office, at school, whatever it is, and you totally can't remember Krishna, we have to make some adjustments.
I have a question. In Grahastha life, husband wife, suppose if, say, a wife, she spends a lot of time in the spiritual listening. I feel we have a lot of work with the kids. She's spending more time in the spiritual. The same thing vice versa. Wife can think, oh, husband is all the time he's listening to speech, he is doing, and he's not spending time housework. A lot of other works are pending. So, how to balance that?
Well, Damadarati, are you guilty of being too engaged in devotional service? Bhaktivinoda Thakur showed by his example that he was having, how many children do you have?
2.
Okay, we'll add 10. Bhaktivinoda Thakur showed by his example that he was doing his Krishna consciousness so expertly that he got all of his material responsibilities done in 1/3 of the amount of time that it took a normal person to get those same material responsibilities done. So the more we practice Krishna consciousness, actually the more efficient we'll become in dealing with our material responsibilities. Right now, we might not be like that because our Krishna consciousness might not be so high quality. But one shouldn't one shouldn't take on responsibilities that they can't be responsible for. But one should also make sure that they're not defining incorrectly what those material responsibilities are. You know, do we have to spend 5 hours a day chauffeuring kids to all their extracurricular activities? You know, we also don't want to engage the children in atyahara, prayashash, etc. So first we should define what the material responsibilities actually are and cut out the stuff that's not actually necessary with an explanation that everyone agrees on, not that, you know, we're just fighting about it or something. And then we should be able to manage our time in such a way that we do our spiritual life nicely and our material life can still go on, our material responsibilities still go on, you know, efficiently. More efficiently than a non-devotee. That just takes some practice, time management.
And Bhaktivinoda Thakur's wife, Bhagavati Devi, she brought up all those children, and we understand she is a exalted pure devotee also. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was just doing his duty, his occupation, maintaining family, and he was spending hours and hours with sadhana and writing 100 books. So it wasn't that he was giving, she was doing the traditional raising the children thing, and she was also very elevated, pure devotee.
So we can't compare and
Yeah,
try to
sorry.
imitate, but the point is, we have to make sure we're not improperly defining what the material needs and responsibilities are, and we should practice time management. Because usually, people have trouble doing everything nicely, if you really look at it, because they're mismanaging their time. We all are guilty of that, just write down what you do every 5 minutes of the day, and then you see, oh my gosh, I wasted like 2.5 hours today. Maybe not all in one slot, a little here, a little here, a little, it all adds up to 2.5 hours. Sheesh.
And one thing that the whole material environment we're in is imposing things, always imposing things upon us, for ourselves, for our children. That, you have to do this is necessary. So like she said, we really have to analyze that. And, somehow really communicate with the children if you want to make a change. Or discuss it. It's up to the parents to sanction whatever the children are doing. Not that it's anything and everything that comes up. But again, it's hard if they're seeing others, their peers that are doing all these other things. Difficult. We don't have our total, devotee community with our own schooling. It's a challenge.
Okay, we should stop there, otherwise nobody will return tomorrow. Take up all their time that they don't even have time to do anything that they need to do.
I guess we all still have to sleep a little at night.
So, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.